Good morning students. We'll continue with the 11th standard economics chapter 9 development experience in India. Next we'll go for the Kisan credit card scheme, that is a KCC. Expand mean KCC means Kisan credit card scheme. It was introduced in the year of 1998 by the RBI, Reserve Bank of India. That means giving a timely loan for the affordable loan or a credit facility to our farmers, and also by NABRD, National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development Bank, also given authority to give this credit card facilities. So the main aim of this is to give the credit card means the farmers who are mainly depend upon informal banking sectors, private banking sectors. They're giving a more interest on there for the giving a loans or a credit facility. So because of that, the farmers cannot repay their debts. The card is offered for the most of the cooperative banks, regional rural banks, public sector banks. They give an authority to give this credit card facility to the bank for the farmers. And also government has advised this convert this KC, that is credit card facility, into the smart card or a debit card. Also they wanted to make the giving the advice to convert them into the debit card or a smart cards. Next we'll go for the So in order to reduce the wastage of agriculture product and also minimize the post-harvest losses, the government of India, that is the Ministry of Agriculture, has started the MOFPI, that means the Ministry of Food Processing Industries. So according to that, the central sector schemes were started in the year 2008 and 9. So according to this scheme, mega food parks were started, and the integrated cold chain was started, value addition preservation infrastructure was started, and the scheme for the quality assurance was started, and the research and development all will be started. All this was can be launched, but we cannot see the sustainable improvement or visible improvement in the field of agriculture. We cannot be seen yet. To give the benefit to the farmers, APMC, that is the Agriculture Produce Market Committee, that means the APMC, Agriculture Produce Market Committee, was set up in order to trade agriculture or horticulture, and that is a helpful, that give the helpful hand to the farmers. So this is the function of this APC, that is what are the function of APC, the 5 marks question it will come. So according to that, the first function of APMC is that to coordinate the private and the public partnership of agriculture market. And the second point is that provide a market service for the farmers for the transport from the selling their crops from one place to another place, or giving the manure facility or pesticides at the time, at the whatever the needed time they will be given. And also bring the transparency in the price system. For their product, what will be the price for each product, that should be transparently said to all the farmers, and also it will be displayed to the farmers, we can say. And the fourth point is that the payment should be given to the farmers at the time of a sale only. At the same day only payment should be given. After sale, the payment should be given, not given in the after the 2 days or 3 days. It should not be followed like that. On base of this one, the payment should be given at the time of a sale only. And the fifth point is that to promote the agriculture activities, and also the supply of pesticide, cash crops, manure should be frequently available for the farmers. And also display the date of arrival of agriculture product and also rates of that product can be displayed time to time in the market itself. So these are the functions of APMC. Next, we'll go for the agrarian crisis after the reforms. So what will be the impact of this agrarian after the reforms? In that, first one is that we can say that the biggest input for the farmers usually on this, because of this, the farmers have shifted the traditional crops of using their traditional crops. They shifted to the cash crops, or we can say cash crops like tobacco, cotton, chili, like that. They transferred, they started cultivating in that form. To buy that cash crops, the price of that cash crop is doubled, because that cash crops will be, before it was sold by the government, after that it was sold by the private people. The quality and the price will be depend upon the private sector only. So because of that, the price will be doubled. So this was a main hit for the farmers. Because of that, why they cannot be able to buy that. Next is maybe in that also fake seeds also may be produced and given, means that farmers will be disappointed after using that one. Next we'll go for the cutback in the agriculture suicides. You can see the farmers were taken a mini credit facility from the other people, or from the private people, or from the banks. They cannot be able to repay the debts. Because of that, suicide, many suicide in the agriculture farmers, it was started increasing. So because why means they are, as I said before, their farmers were shifted from the mixture of traditional crops to the cash crops like a chili, cotton, tobacco. So to use that cash crops, they have to use the pesticides, manure, that a modernized manure or pesticide they have to use. But the rate of that pesticides and fertilizer is started increasing 300%. But the price of the agriculture goods is not increases as much as the fertilizers and the pesticides. These were the main drawback of this using the cash crops. Next, reduction of import duties. So according to that, in the 2001, India completely removed the restriction of import almost all the 1,500 items. Because of that one, the price of a cash crops like a cotton, pepper was started decreasing. And next we'll go for the poverty of a credit facility. That means a paucity of a credit facility. So according to this paucity of credit facility after 1991, lending loan pattern of a commercial bank of a nationalization, after the nationalization of commercial banks, totally changes. As a result of that one, the loan was not easily given to the farmers. Because of this, the farmers started lending the loan from the local money lenders. That local money lenders were charged the extra interest rate to that credit facility. Because of that one, the burden of indebtedness was started increasing. So as I said, the farmers in India are born in debts and died in debts. It is it continues in India, we can say that one. Next topic, trade reforms. So under the trade reforms since 1991, in that free import and export. So before 1991, import were regulated in India. So after 1992, imports were regulated by the limited negative list. Because of that, the trade policy of 1st April 1992 freed all the intermediate and capital goods only for the 71 items of goods only restricted. So because of that will be maybe a effect or the impact of that restriction for the domestic industries like dairy product, fruits and vegetables, tea, cocoa, fishery product, and also the leather product, and footwears started decreasing. Next, rationalization of tariff structure and the removal of quantitative restrictions. So according to this rationalized tariff structure and quantitative restriction, the Challaya committee report has suggested some restriction can be given or given some steps to improve that one. According to that, first step is that the tariff or tax can be decreases from 300% to 150. That is 50% will be tax free can be given to the customers. This will affect the domestic industry because they started importing from the foreign countries to India. Means local, those are having, they cannot sell the product at the lowest level. The expense is more, how they can sell their product for the lesser prices. Next, we'll go for the export and import policy. We can say that EXIM, that is export and import policy. So according to this policy, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry has announced a new foreign trade policy. It was in the year 1st April 2015, that is for the period of 2015 to 20, we can say. So according to this policy, they wanted to increase the export scenario in the on the market of a world market. India should be made into the digital India. So because of that only 20% of a domestic manufacturing support made decreases because of that one. So because the domestic whatever industry over there in the India domestic, they cannot compete with the other. So to avoid that one, they given an EXIM, that means import and export facility can be given to the all that industry. The first step is to make that India to be a digital concept. Online procedure and upload the digitally signed document, that and all should be there. Yearly they no need to submit their physical copies of documents to the exporters or importers for the revision of their profiles. Already it is already installed in the CA, that is computers, it is there. So no need to submit and again. So this was a main advantages for the going for the digital India. And also the export item related defense and ministry, military stores and also nuclear energy can be launched for the more than 24-month expiry of goods can be before that one can be given in that canteens also, we can say. Export obligation can be given to that defense, military sectors and the nuclear energy can be given. And also main aim of that this one EXIM is to double the shares of world trade of 3% by 2000. India's shares என்ன இருக்குதோ அந்த shares வந்து doubled in India in the worldwide. நம்மளுடைய share வந்து worldwide 3% they want to increase. Target was fixed in 2020. So these are the facilities that totally that the EXIM is to wanted to, the main motto we can say that wanted to make the India to be a digital India. Whatever we are using now, that can be because of that EXIM, we can say. Next we'll go for the special economic zone, SEZ, we can say. So according to 2000, the Act of 2005, the SEZ has launched, implemented. According to this, there are 400 zones were launched in India. So this first SEZ was launched because they wanted to give a growth in the field of agriculture and also the industrial sectors and also export sectors. They wanted to give the growth. Because of that only SEZ has started. India is one of the first Asian to recognize the SEZ. That means EPs, that means export processing zone. The first SEZ center was launched in the place called Kandla in 1965. The India in Asia, India the first to start that one. So it was started in the year 1965, and they started. According to that only, the mini industrial parks, economic technology zones were launched, high technology zones were launched, science and innovation parks will be launched, and the free ports were launched in India because of that one. So then we will go for the objectives. What is the main objective of the Cs, that is special economic zones. So according to this, the C's objective is that they wanted to attract the foreign investors, and also they wanted to improve the foreign direct FDI, that means foreign direct investment. Why? Means they wanted to increase the GDP, gross domestic product. If they automatically the GDP increase, standard of living of a people also increases. So because of that only the C's ones started, and also they wanted to increase the shares of India's share in the export level. India's share should be increased in the international business, and also they wanted to create the job opportunity or employment opportunity, and also they wanted to increase the development infrastructure, and also exchange technological global market should be increases worldwide. India should be given a compete with other countries, mean that and all should be increases. And these are the main objectives. And what is the character of C's in the sense, the geographical area of marketing and physical security should be, when you are doing the business with other country, the one geographical area to other, your security can be given to the business person, that can be given by this C's. And also the power and the control of a single monopoly authority should be there. Then only if any disputes come, means they will solve your problem in the field of business. And also the streamlined procedure from the order from the up to downwards. Then only you can peacefully you can do your business. So these are all the characters of a C's and the important objectives of a C's. Next, physical reforms. This physical reforms means discipline can be made in the physical deficit. That means imbalance in the field of physical reforms. They wanted to correct the physical imbalance, so that the reform has been started. So according to this reform, reduction in the field of fertilizer subsidies were reduced. That means any subsidies or incentive given when they are using fertilizer, means that it is reducing. And also if the subsidy is given to the sugar, means that also can be reduced. And also the disinvestment on the part of a government equity share, that means the public sector can be given or transferred, disinvestment was made to the private. The public sector can be transferred to the private sectors. So all these has an impact, and also the gradually decrease of a welfare measure start. Decrease in a welfare measure, that means they did not give any welfare measure to the citizens, we can say that one. Next we'll go for the GST. GST means goods and service taxes, we can say. This tax is imposed when the consumer buy the goods and services. We can say this is the indirect tax, we can say. It can be tax maybe on the manufacturers or sale of consumption of goods and services, can be said. This GST is replaced of all the indirect taxes, which is this was levied or imposed by the central government as well as the state both government. We can also say that a GST is a one-point tax, you can say. VAT is a can be value added. VAT means value added tax, that is a multiple tax. A GST was passed in the parliament in the year 29th March 2017, but it has came into effect 1st July 2017. The main motto of GST was one nation, one market and one tax. So advantages of this GST, we can say that one is that a single point tax, we can say, and also higher threshold for registration. All the tax will be registered, and also definition treatment for the e-commerce has been increasing, upliftment has been made, growth has been made, we can say. and also increase the efficiency of logistics, we can say, and also there will be a increase and regulation on the organization sectors, we can say, in the GST, we can say. Next we'll go the monetary and financial sector reforms. So according to monetary finance, that reform in the field of banking sectors, what will be effect of a banking sector, that is a policy was implemented. According to that, a reserve requirement. Reserve requirement means SLR and CRR. The SLR in the sense a statutory liquidity ratio we have to keep in the RBI, and a CRR we have to keep in our bank. That is, so that according to the Narasimha Committee report of 1991, that they have given some ideas to cut down the SLR, that is statutory liquid ratio. That is, before usually it was at 38.5% they have to keep there. So according to the Narasimha Committee, 25% can be reduced at the span years of 3 years, we can say. Next is the CRR, means a cash reserve ratio they have to keep in their own bank. That can be 3%, 5% they are brought down up to the year of 4 years, we can say. So next we'll go to, for the interest rate investment. Interest rate investment, according to that one, the RBI has given some facility to the bankers. According to that, interest rate payable on the deposit can also be reduced, and also bank loan can be increased, and also they are given the competition between the public bank and also private bank and the foreign bank, also greater competition among them. And also the bank wanted to start the branches, means they can extend the branches, and also given ideas to relocate or open the different branches in the other location also. They can given a rights, and also they given a guideline to give a new branch of a bank in the private sector as well as a public sector. And also they given some ideas to maintain the accounts, rules and norms, that is a classification of assets and bad debts, how they have to maintain in their bank. That all, this and all will be given by the Narasimha Committee report. So these are all about the lesson 9. Then we'll go next class, we'll go for the lesson 10. Thank you.